this is the first time, everybody thought Ewing. This is the first time where I said, definitely.
Do you think it's in?
This is beyond being ridiculous. This is preposterous. This is exactly what it is.
I thought York, I got to be honest. The Bulls once won one of these things with a 1.7% chance, and Dallas had 1.8. I thought it was preposterous last night. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I honestly.
Yeah.
And I did. It was like 6:15. So I said, I don't know what jogged my memory, but I go, the lottery's on. And so I'm standing with a few of the dads. We're watching our son's youth baseball team. And I said, oh, shit, I put it on real quick. They're like, yeah, put it on. So they were at 9, I think. And I saw that the Bulls had stayed at 12. And I texted the guys right away. I'm like, wait, so did they stay at 12? The Bulls picking 12? Yes. And as this thing starts coming off and you realize, all right, Dallas is now beyond the point where they could fall in that little window. I'm like, Dallas is going to be in the top 4 now? And then when they came back from break and it went 4-3, and then I'm like, this is it. They're winning. I'm like, this is insane. This is preposterous. I didn't even have to see the second pick, York. After 3, when it wasn't Dallas, I swear to you, York, I turned to the group. I'm like, Dallas is winning. Dallas won the lottery. And we couldn't believe it.
Dallas won the lottery back in February.
We couldn't believe it.
The rest of the world didn't know it, but they did.
So what? LeBron's getting old, and Silver's like, hey, trade Luka. You don't want to pay him anyway. You're a little annoyed with him. And as Cap put it, what did Cap have him smoking? Hookers?
Hookers.
Cap had Luka smoking hookers?
Yeah.
That sounds like something you might get in trouble for. Yeah, I don't know.
How you do that.
What was
that a cigar brand of some sort I'm not familiar with?
He said that Luka's a hooker smoker or something.
He's addicted to hookahs.
It's a hookah.
And I will say this.
Hookah.
As a representative of that community.
Of the hookah community?
Of the hookah community, it is ridiculous the amount of slander that hookah is getting from that program from 7 to 10 a.m.
I kind of
from
agree.
The seat where Jurko sits.
Yeah, it's not
That's
that
insane.
program. It's one person.
It's one person.
I kind of agree with you.
Dude's
really?
got baby lungs all of a sudden.
Does he think it's hard drugs?
I don't know. Does he think it's heroin?
I think whatever he thinks, it's clouding your lungs and maybe doesn't allow them to operate at maximum efficiency.
Cap's anti-Luka is getting very Kyle Schwarber beer league softball player. Does he know Luka's still really good? Pretty good. But it's very Kyle Schwarber
I know it.
is a beer league softball player.
Is he a little doughy?
I know
Sure. But I don't think that's the hookah. Hookah doesn't make you doughy. If anything, it curbs the appetite.
So Nico and the Mavs are a little annoyed. Silver goes to them in February, says, you got to trade him. LeBron's going to be out. I want him in L.A. We'll give you Cooper Flagg. I think we just solved the entire conspiracy theory there. We just put all the pieces together. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think that was difficult. That's like one of those rudimentary puzzles you do as a fifth grader with 5 pieces. You got a kid with a beach ball at the beach. It's pretty easy. Look, the water's over here, the sand's here, and the boy's in the middle with the beach ball.
Everybody,
not very complicated.
Everybody thinks this thing is rigged now.
Our listeners do.
It's funny. It's funny to joke about for sure. 312-332-3776.
They can deny it. They can do whatever they want.
Of course they'll deny it.
I can believe what I want to believe.
Yeah, but yes.
And I believe this thing was predetermined, period. That's it.
It is wild the way this all worked out. John's in Elmhurst. What's up, John?
Yeah, it's coincidental that back in, 2018, the Pelicans trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers, and they get the number 1 pick with Zion, and then the Mavs trade Luka to the Lakers, and they get this pick with Cooper.
Yeah.
It has something to do with the Lakers for sure, wouldn't you think? I'll hang up and listen, guys.
It's all fishy, John. You're right. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Very fishy. Not everything seems as what it seems.
Jacob in St. Charles. What's up, Jacob?
Hey, guys. Just to add on, same exact situation. New Orleans, when the franchise got sold they traded CP3. They got the number 1 pick for AD. LeBron left Cleveland. Cleveland got the number 1 pick for Kyrie. New Orleans trades AD to LA. AD gets the nick of the number 1 pick for Zion. And the same situation here now with Dallas trading Luka to LA. It's just insane. It's so obviously rigged.
Add it to the list, I guess, Jacob. I wrote down a few things here, like what Jacob was hinting at. The most famous example of this goes back to 85, and that's the cold envelope, right? Where David Stern pulls the cold envelope.
Sure.
And the Knicks win the Patrick Ewing sweepstakes. Now, the Knicks did have a 14% chance of winning that lottery that year, Yerk. Those were the highest odds. It was tied with, I can't remember who they were tied with. It was the Knicks and someone else had the best odds to win the lottery. They won it, and everybody immediately thought it was suspicious. In 2003, the Cavs won the right to draft the hometown kid, LeBron James, right from Akron down the street. Again, the Cavs had the best odds with Denver. They had a 22.5% chance of winning that lottery. It was the best odds with the Denver Nuggets that spring. They won it. So we could talk about the conspiracy theories, but the Knicks had the best odds. The Cavs had the best odds. The Bulls winning the Derrick Rose sweepstakes, that certainly was not, hey, the Bulls had the best odds. We know what those odds were. They were 1.7%. In fact, that's the second greatest, what would you call it, upset? I don't know how you'd want to term that. Those are the second shortest odds in history for a team to win the lottery.
Yes.
The 1.7%. Charlotte once won it with a 1.3% chance, I believe it was.
And they drafted Muggsy Bogues.
And they did not draft Muggsy Bogues. The Bulls had the second shortest odds ever. I don't.
They
was
drafted
Grandmama number
Grandmama.
one overall? It might have been.
I don't know. I'm just being a smart ass.
I don't remember, to be
trying
honest.
to think anybody. Alonzo Mourning? No, they've got Alonzo when they lost.
Yeah.
They lost the number one pick. They got Alonzo Mourning.
I don't remember, York. But
then somebody became the Hornets and another team became the Bobcats.
Well, then they went back and they were like the new Charlotte team after Charlotte left, and then they were the Bobcats, and then the Hornets again. And for a little while, the Pelicans were the Hornets still in New Orleans, and now they're the Pelicans. Well, then the other one I have down here is AD to the Pelicans, the Hornets back then in 2012. Because remember who owned the team? Remember who owned that team in 2012?
Michael Jordan, right?
No. Who owned the New Orleans Pelicans?
Wes Unseld.
The New Orleans Hornets back then. No.
Oh, the Hornets down there.
Yeah.
Tom Benson.
Nope.
Who?
The NBA.
Aha.
The league
Owned them.
They had the fourth best odds, and they won the right to draft Anthony Davis. I jotted down those four. If you guys have any more, I think it was our last caller was just talking about the time that the Cavs won it when LeBron's free agency year was happening again, after the Miami experience, when LeBron was going to become a free agent again, and then he would ultimately go back to Cleveland from Miami. They won it, which I think some people thought was a little bit interesting because it gave them another asset. So that one, the four I just mentioned, any others you can think of? And we love a good conspiracy theory. So, hey, fire away with your best sports conspiracy theories.
I mean,
312-332 ESPN.
When I saw it happen last night, I just laughed. I go, it all makes sense now.
Jurg, I don't know what's crazier in the last week. That Dallas pulled that off, all things considered, or that the Pope is from here and was eating at Aurelio 6 months ago. I don't know what's crazier.
Yeah.
Probably the Pope thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, it could all be on the up and up, and Dallas got really lucky. I know you're not going to believe that. It could be.
If I was a rube, I'd think that way. But I'm not a rube.
Once the Bulls didn't get it, I was cheering for the Mavericks. Because
of course,
that hookah smoking, beer drinking, slovenly guard that plays for the Lakers.
Hold on a moment. Hookah. What you said is a different thing. Hookah.
That hookah.
Hookah.
So he clanked it. He clanked it.
I got a couple uncles that want to have a word about this hookah. Okay,
Jesse.
Cap uses hookah and that you drink beer in. That's such a pejorative way. Again, Schwarber, a beer league softball player. What's his problem with beer?
Once the Bulls didn't get it, I was cheering for the Mavericks.
I don't know what he drinks.
Because that hookah
So
smoking.
he clanked it. He clanked it.
Mineral water?
I don't know.
I think that one went off his head.
I thought it hit him right on top of his head.
I've never seen a play like that.
No, that's unique.
Once the Bulls didn't get it, I was cheering for the Mavericks. Because that hookah smoking.
I think you get arrested for that. I don't know. Hookah's okay.
Right.
Hookah's, I don't know
Well,
what
it depends on the state.
I think West
That's
Virginia.
not true,
you're
Adam.
all right.
Even before marijuana was legal, there were hookah bars. I don't know what.
No,
there
I'm
was.
talking about the hookahs.
Oh, I got you. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, my bad.
Once the Bulls didn't get it, I was cheering for the
Which
Mavericks.
end do you smoke?
Now you just can't
Because-
have it in a restaurant. You got to
that-
separate the restaurant from the actual hookah bar
Hookah
in the state of
smoking.
Illinois.
Oh, he clanked it. He clanked it.
Which end do you smoke?
I think Cap
I
thinks
wish
that when you-
I wish Shay or Hoodie or J Moore would have said that. Which end is he smoking?
I think Cap thinks that when you drink a beer, like it's the cartoon where like your stomach gets really big, your pants open up, the shirt unbuttons, and when you take one hit of hookah, it's like the cartoon thing where like your pupils get really big, and that song "Go Ask Alice" starts playing. That's what he
Who
thinks.
the blank is Alice?
That's what he thinks smoking hookah is.
Now I got another conspiracy theory for you too.
Oh,
Jurko laid out his.
I'm up for it.
I got one for you. Let us know your favorites, what you thought of what happened last night. 312-332-ESPN. I immediately thought of the coin toss scene. The Bulls did lose a coin toss to the Mavericks to be 11, right? There was to decide who was 11, the 11 seed and the 12 seed. 11 seed had a 1.8% chance of winning. We now know 11 went up 10 spots and won. 12 had, where the Bulls stayed, they had a 1.7% chance of winning the lottery and an 8% chance of moving into the top four.
I think Dallas had a 100% chance.
Well,
of
you might be
moving
right.
up.
You know what I was thinking though. My mind also immediately went to the best scene in one of the best movies of the last 20 years, the gas station scene in No Country for Old Men. Remember?
Heads or tails?
Heads or tails.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Sir?
The most you ever lost on a coin toss?
I don't know. I couldn't say.
That's AK.
Call it.
Shagur is Adam Silver, I guess. I don't know.
Must have been
And that the poor hapless
NBA. The rest of the NBA.
I was going to say, like the poor hapless, attendant behind the gas station who was suddenly very frightened by
Right.
Shagur, and rightfully so.
Trying
That's
to figure
like
it
AK.
out. Yeah, he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I got to know what I stand to win. Everything. You stand to win everything. I can't call it for you. You have to call it. You know what date is on this coin? It's been traveling 30 years to get to this moment. And the Bulls lost a freaking coin toss. They've lost 2 coin tosses now. For one of the all-time great players in NBA history, and maybe another one. We'll see what happens with Cooper Flagg. But the Bulls famously lost a coin toss for the right to draft Magic Johnson. Now, in a weird way, as I've always said, that kind of worked out. Little did everybody know back then that 5 years later it would work out and Michael Jordan would fall in the Bulls' lap. It's probably not the case if they have Magic Johnson. Will this somehow, in a strange way, all work out like 3 years from now?
To help the Bulls?
I don't know. I'm just asking you. Could it be that, like in 3 years, they're finally like really bad, and they get a high draft pick, and they wouldn't have been bad with Cooper Flagg, and they get some other generational talent? I don't think I even believe that, Yerk, but I'm saying it's happened once before in Bulls history, but 2 tough coin tosses. The Bears, correct me if I'm wrong, once lost a coin toss for Terry Bradshaw. Isn't that right, Yerk?
Yes, they did.
We've had some bad luck with coin tosses, guys.
Once the Bulls didn't get it, I was cheering for the Mavericks. Because that hookah smoking.
Oh, he clanked it. He clanked it.
That's just put that together forever. That is the best. I got another theory for you, okay?
All right, I'm waiting.
I'll throw that at you coming up next. 312-332-ESPN. Bulls picking 12th. Dallas wins the lottery. We've got schedule, release info, the league, and the networks. Just they continue to tease us a little bit, but we're starting to piece the schedule together. We have the international schedule. One of the Bears teams inside the division, one of their opponents inside the division, has to play back-to-back Europe games in different cities for the first time ever. We've got 2 marquee Bears matchups that we have to talk about, so a loaded show coming up today. It's Carmen and Jurko.